The power of positive thinking. I know you've all heard that, and it sounds kind of, how do I say, trite or Pollyanna, I guess may be the word I'm looking for. But there's a lot of truth to it because if every action of yours is preceded by a thought, and that thought is negative, there's a really good chance that your negative thought will produce a negative action or reaction. There's so many things about you, especially when you meet someone, little nuances, the way you move your body, the way you hold yourself, the tone of voice. I suppose there's a million things that we don't pay attention to, that we don't even notice, that other people pick up on, subtle little clues. So if you're thinking negatively, for example, when you go up to meet that good-looking girl that you've been wanting to talk to, you're thinking she's not going to like you, you're not good-looking enough, you're not tall enough, you don't make enough money, you can't talk well, and all these things. You could say the perfect words or have the perfect line, and she's going to notice something about you that doesn't feel right. And it's going to be your negative projection of yourself. She may even look at you and think you're good looking, go back and tell her friend, man, he's handsome, but I don't know, he just doesn't do it for me. I know one time I met this girl. Let me turn that down just a little bit. I met this girl. I talked to her online, and what I always do if I meet someone online, I had them do a cam call, because photos are very misleading, especially profile photos. So if you're on a dating app, I recommend that you at least, before you meet her, get her to send you some photos, like from texting or a different app or something. I usually say, send me a photo of you right now. I usually holding a spoon or holding two fingers up, so I know that I'm talking to who I'm talking to. Probably a lot of you young people don't do that because you think you're so used to communicating that way, you don't anticipate or think that someone may not be who they are. But I come from a different time, so I like to make sure. And what I found out is people who are legit have no problem doing that. I mean, how long does it take for me to take a photo like this, or take a photo with me holding a spoon or a fork or an ink pen or a glass or something? And people will understand, because there are some people out there who are disingenuous. So they will understand that you want to verify who they are. So if they do that, you talk a little bit, and then if I have to go quite a ways to meet them, which may be an hour or two drive, then I would want to do a cam call, so I get a feel for the personality, even though that's still not the same as meeting them in person. I've talked to some guys that I was trying to help. Some people I can help, some people I can't. And they'll be telling me about this relationship they have with this girl. It's like, how many times have y'all, or how long have you gone out, or how many times have you met? And they'll say, well, I haven't met her yet, we've just been texting. And the man is all wrapped up in her, and he hasn't even met her for real yet, in person. There's a total difference. As I was saying, I met this girl, and I had to drive quite a ways to meet her, and I talked to her on cam, and as soon as she walked in the room when I met her in person, I didn't like her. I mean, I didn't hate her, but it was just something about her. We just didn't click. Chemistry, whatever you want to call it. She looked the same, her voice was the same, but there was a feel about her personality, something I just did not like. I don't know if she was disingenuous, or I don't know what it was, but I didn't like her. So, I spent some time with her. I think we ate, and then I ended up just going home. Didn't turn out to be anything. But what I'm telling you is, you never know until you meet that person in person, because there's always something underneath there that you can't, how do I say, connect with or pick up on or realize until you're actually in that person's vicinity. I mean, you could call it a vibration. I'm not sure what it is, but it's there. And it's the same for that girl too. She may meet you and not like you, and she may not know why. But going back to the positive thinking, many times it's because what is going on behind the scenes? What is going on within that person? I'm sure you've met a person, maybe done business with people, or maybe someone behind the counter, a clerk, and you didn't know what it was about them, but something you just didn't like. I'll guarantee you it's something in their thought process, something going on behind the scenes that you can't see. Is it negativity? Very possibly could be if you're a more positive person, because you're not going to click or vibrate or get along too good with somebody who's negative if you're generally positive. And it's very important to keep a positive mindset. How many of us do this? Get in the car and it won't start. Wouldn't you know it? What is that saying right there to your subconscious mind, to yourself? That things always, it's just normal for things to go bad for you. Now, how about when you get in the car every morning, if you say something like this? It starts up good, warms up quick. Man, wouldn't you know it? Things always work out great for me. Now, you probably would feel silly saying that, but yet you don't feel silly saying, if you get a flat tire, of course. It's so natural and normal to speak negatively. It just comes naturally. You have to actually put out effort to think positively, to speak positively, and sometimes it's uncomfortable depending on what kind of crowd you're in. That's why most people don't do it. Now, do I ever think negatively? Of course I do. I caught myself doing it this morning. And I listened to a YouTube video and they were talking about positive thinking. And I remember back, I read a book. I think I've read it a couple of times. A long time ago, I read it for the first time in the 90s? No, the 80s. Yeah. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. And it really does work because, as I said, it changes your thought process. And whenever you change your thinking, which is where your actions result from, it changes your life. It's just, negativity is just thrust in your face every day. And if you don't make a conscious effort to think positively, you will be inundated, flooded with negative thinking, negative points of view, negative, the world's going to an end. Even social media, a lot of the social media, even the guys that I like sometimes, I don't watch them because they'll have a thumbnail to try to catch your attention, which is fear-based. And then they talk about things that are going on in the government or with the CDC or World Health Organization or any of those, the war in Ukraine, our president, Putin, whoever or whatever. And they'll use fear to draw you in and negativity to keep you there. And you have to consciously avoid things like that. Now, it's like bait, what they call the thumbnails, clickbait, and it pulls you in. And you can really get caught up in thinking about how bad things are. You can't believe people do this. They can't, how do they get away with this? How can they think like that? For the government, especially since we have social media, it seems like there's blatant law breaking going on. Now, that's been going on since the beginning of time with governments, but yet we've never had a social media like we have now where people could actually bring it out and show it to you. So this is nothing new, but it seems like it is. And I even get to thinking that way myself. And you have to remember, everything is slanted by someone's opinion, especially when they start showing you clips of this and clips of that. So I recommend staying away from those things because it can really distort your view of how the world really is. Because even if you were there, you don't know. Even if you were there experiencing it, you don't know everything that's going on. You can only see a minute part of the big picture. And that's with you being there personally. Okay, so you can't really make a judgment. when it's filtered through social media, someone else's opinion, video clips of 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there. And I'm telling you, you can't do it, or you can make an opinion, but it's very faulty. It's not even close to reality. Too many times we judge reality by our senses, our limited view. Think about your own life. How many things have happened to you thought were bad, you thought you knew everything that was going on, and then later you found out you didn't know everything that was going on, and it turned out to be a good thing. And you were right in the middle of this situation. Now, were you thinking positive or negatively then? I don't know, I wasn't there. But more than likely, you were probably thinking some of the bad things that you thought were going to happen. And when you got through it and looked back, you realized that it was a good thing. And if you didn't, you can look back and dig for the good things and think of it in a positive light. What good came out of that terrible situation you have gone through? That divorce, that custody battle. What did you learn from it? What do you have now that you wouldn't have if you had not gone through that? Do you have a new girlfriend, a new wife? Do you have kids, a better job? Did you get fired and you thought that was terrible, but now you have the dream job, or you have a job that's really more satisfying and fulfilling? Are you making less, but yet you don't dread getting up and going to work every day? You enjoy the people you work with now? You're not under constant stress? There's always something good and positive you can look for, but it takes effort. It takes no effort to turn on the news and watch that barrage of negativity. It takes no effort to turn on your social media, your favorite social media platform, and listen to somebody badmouth women in the red pill. Actually, I heard the red pill was classified as a terrorist organization on the terrorist watch list. I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, now the red pill's got good and bad. Now, is the red pill good or bad? No, nothing is either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. It depends how you look at it. Some guys get on there and bash women. They talk about pump and dump, etc., etc. There's no good women. They all cheat on you. They all lie. That's extreme. That's not true. At least it's not true in my world. Have I been cheated on? Yes. Have I been lied to? Yes. Are all women bad? I don't think so. Are all men bad? I don't think so. Are all men good? No. But a realistic point of view is they're good men, they're good women, they're good and bad people everywhere in the world. And good and bad is only relative to what you decide is good and bad. That's a whole nother video there. But the point of all this is to keep your mind on a positive focus. Look for the good in everything. Let's say you come out and somebody run into the side of your car and he left. He didn't leave his insurance, his name, his number, license, anything. Now, you think that's bad, right? I mean, I would be aggravated about it, of course, but you don't know if that's good or bad. So now what do you got to do? You got to make an insurance claim. So you get in your car and you happen to be close to the office where you do business. So you go by there. And guess what? They got a new secretary and you're single. And she is just like the girl you've been looking for. And you happen to hit it off with her. And guess what? You have a date for Friday night. Okay. Now, are you still focusing on that bad dent in your car? Or do you realize that you never would have met this girl, the girl of your dreams, had you not had that experience of someone hitting your car and leaving? I mean, that may be an extreme example, but that's one of many that could happen. That's very possible. So you have to look at things from a different perspective, or perception is key in life. How do you perceive your life? How do you perceive everything that happens to you? You can look for the good or experience everything as bad and look at it in a negative light or a positive light. And I'm not talking about being a Pollyanna. Everything's great and wonderful. Looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. As any of you know that follow me, I'll talk about reality. I'm not denying reality, but I am creating and looking and living in the reality that I want to have. And that goes without denying that there is negativity in the world, but focusing on the positive and looking for the good in everything and everybody. Because what you look for, you find in life. We get what we expect. I gotta stop now because I'm going to work. It's a beautiful sunny day. And take care. See ya next time.